So let me go to my watch list and then add GBP card. So GBP card by Sabotage. So early this year I was trading GBP card, but I stopped because I want to trade less pairs. Okay, so now I'm starting my analysis on GBP card from the monthly time frame. So Sabotage, if you are still here, be attentive and then watch how I'm going to break GBP card from the monthly time frame to even 1 hour time frame. Now Sabotage, if you are still here, the first question that we are going to ask ourselves, me and you, we are going to ask ourselves simple question, and the question is that in the monthly time frame that we are starting from, who are in control? In other words, we can also ask the same question in what? From the different angle, like what is the direction from the monthly time frame? We don't just watch the market by drawing high, low, high, low. No, watch the market critically and ask yourself question. At a point in time, you answer your question based on what? Your analysis. Okay, so who are in control, or what is the direction from the monthly time frame? Before we can give vivid what description to the chart, we need to now then zoom in. Why are we zooming in? We are zooming in to see the bigger picture of the market. Then we can describe it as what? Either downtrend or a ranging what? Market. Now we are going to zoom in. Sabotage. So now we have zoomed in. After zooming in, Sabotage, how are we going to describe GBP card? So we can only describe GBP card in a form of what? Downtrend. Let me repeat myself again. After zooming in, now we have been able to see the bigger picture from the monthly time frame. Now after seeing the bigger picture, how are we going to describe GBP card? Now we can describe GBP card in a form of what? Downtrend. Sorry guys. Now if you know the direction of what? Of the market, whether downtrend or uptrend or in a consolidation market, we don't start by saying a high, a low, a high, low. Now you ask yourself question again. How can I confirm that the trend which is in downtrend will be able to continue? Now I will switch a little bit. So now if we can continue, or if we can see that price will be able to continue as a downtrend, every turning point in the market must form below each other or on the same level. Now when I say turning point, that is the general description as to how the market moves. But based on technical analysis, based on what? Technical analysts, we have so many terminologies to describe how the turning point in the market behave. Some people say that turning point can be a high. Some people say that turning point can be a low. Some people also say that turning point is what? Support and resistance in the market. Some people also say that turning point is what? Higher psychological level, lower psychological level. Some people also say that turning point is what? It's a supply and demand in the market. Some people also say that turning point is what? It's buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity. Now, what are you also saying? You can only add up to what is there when you do understand what people have been saying. Okay, we are going to keep it simple. So now we are going to stick to support and resistance. We don't want to complicate life. So now to continue, how can we know that this downtrend or what will be able to continue as downtrend? We can only know when we see that every resistance and support in that downtrend must form below each other or on the same level. Now let me use arrow to demonstrate what I'm trying to mean. Let's say we are in a downtrend starting from this resistance as a point. Now this resistance will be able to form it what? Support. We know that price will never move straight. No, at a point in time there will be a turn. That turning, we have a description for that. That turning, we have a terminology to describe how that turning is what? Is behaving in the market. Now price will use this resistance here, will form this support. Now this support must be able to continue the trend. How? Now it can only be continue the trend when it forms its resistance is either on this level or below. Now this support can only be continued, or this support can continue the downtrend when it forms its resistance either on this level as the same what? Previous what? Level, or it will form the next resistance below. Now the below can be here, can be there, can be that, can be anywhere. So far as it's below this resistance, is below. Someone sat down in the olden generation, someone sat down to study the market in the whole life of the person, and the person designed a tool called Fibonacci. That is why we have so many levels of what? Fibonacci. We have 0.1, we have 0.3, we have 0.6, we have 0.5, we have 0.7, and then we have 1. That is when you are describing Fibonacci in terms of what? Decimal what? Points. Now, when you are describing Fibonacci in terms of what? Percentage-wise, we have 10%, 30%, 50%, 60%, 70%, and 100%. That is the percentage what? Wise when you are describing Fibonacci. So it depends on how you describe it. Now, someone sat down to design this tool to measure how or where price is likely to form the next resistance. That must be what? Below this resistance. When it forms on the same level, that means that the market has pulled back 100% or 1. So let's say the market has decided to form the next resistance around this level. That means that when the market forms this resistance around this level, this resistance is below this resistance. Now, when this resistance forms, what is the duty of this resistance? The duty of this resistance is to what? To confirm the trend. The question is simple. How can this resistance confirm this trend? This resistance can only confirm this trend when it managed to break the previous support to form its support below. Because we said that if the trend, which is in downtrend, can what? Can continue as downtrend when every resistance and support form below each other or on the same level. So this resistance must form the next support. That support was formed because of this resistance, not because of this support. Because of this resistance. Why? Because it has been able to break this support to form the next support here. Now, after this support form, what is the next movement of price? The next movement of price is for this support here, which is new support, to form its resistance. Now, when it's forming its resistance, we said that every turning point or every resistance and support must form below each other, which simply means that this support here, its resistance must what? Form below the previous resistance if the trend will continue. In that manner, then we have this cycle. We say that price is what? Is in a downtrend. Now let's go back to chart and then see if we can be able to know that yes, price will be able to continue the downtrend. Let's find out the downtrend. Now, to find out the downtrend, we need to focus on the resistance first. Why? Because if we'll be interested in selling, we will sell from what? The resistance. In other words, we will sell from what? Highs. Now, let's find out the resistance within this trend. Let's start from anywhere. If we are starting from this resistance here, we have here as what? As the first resistance within the trend, as far as what? GBP card is concerned. Do we have another resistance again within this trend? Yes, we do have the next resistance. And that resistance is what? Is this resistance. Now, do we have another resistance again? Yes, we have the last resistance, but price has been able to break that resistance. And that resistance is what? Is this resistance. I've been telling you guys that if let's say we are in a downtrend, if this resistance form this support form its resistance, this resistance form this support form this resistance. If this resistance failed to break this support to continue the trend and price see buy pressure here, this resistance is not strong. Why? It has failed to perform its duty. That means that if price is pulling back, when price see buy pressure, the higher probability of price to break this resistance is 99.99%. That means that price has what? Higher probability to break this resistance to go back to what? The previous what? Resistance. Why? In its simpler manner, we were supposed, or price was supposed to break this what? Support, which was formed because of this resistance. If price has failed to break this support, but rather respecting it as support, price has what? 99.99% to go back to where it started. That is this resistance. Now, let's go back to the chart. Price has managed to break this resistance. So therefore, let's delete this resistance at the point like right now. Now, we have only these two resistance. After that, we need to find out the support that was formed because of the resistance. Now, this first resistance here formed this support. It tells me that this resistance, forming this support, what happens? There was a pullback. Now that pullback formed the next resistance below the previous resistance. What is the duty of this resistance? The duty of this resistance is to confirm the trend. How? It can only confirm the trend when it managed to break this support to form the next support below. But how this resistance was in a process to break this support, that process was what? Was also in a downtrend, trend within a trend. This is a perfect example. Let me switch a little bit. Let's say price is in a downtrend. If this resistance formed this support and price is pulling back, I've been saying that there are two types of pullback. There are two behavior of pullback. There are two behavior of continuation of price. Price can continue in the form of what? Impulse move. When the buyers or sellers are enough, when the buyers and sellers are more than what? Any of them, price will continue in what? In an impulse move. But when they are in what? They are in an equal, the direction will go in favor of what? The general trend. But at a point in time, sellers will show their presence, buyers will show their presence. That is when we will find what? Or that is when we will see price forming trend within a trend. Let me give you a perfect example. Let's say the general trend is what? Is in a downtrend. This resistance has broke this support. Price has pulled back. This pullback that you have seen as what? As one line here. There are two behavior that price can what? Behave. Price can pull back in the form of what? An impulse move when the buyers are now more than sellers at this short period of time. Now, when they are not enough at a certain point, there will be sellers that will come in. Now, when the sellers come in around this level, for price to continue, now there are two behavior that price can also what? Behave in this what? Continuation. Price can continue in the form of what? Impulse move when the sellers are now overcome what? The buyers. Or we can also see price behaving in the form of what? Trend, telling us that we have equal sellers, equal buyers, but the trend is what? Is to favor what? The sellers. So we'll go in line with the trend, but at a point in time, we'll show their presence. That is when you will see price behaving like this, telling us that there is what? Trend within a trend. That is a general trend, and within the general trend, there is a downtrend. Now, if price decide to see buy pressure here and change, price is not changing the general trend. Price is only changing the trend that the market used to break this support. That means that the market is changing only this trend. Now, when the market changes this trend and manage to break this resistance, that is when we can say that the whole trend has changed. If not, it's just a pullback, reversing what? A trend. Let's go back to the chart. Now, to go back to the chart, we have only what? This support here, which was formed because of this resistance. So this resistance formed this support, price pulled back as expected. For price to use this resistance to continue, what happens? Price moved in the form of a trend, and this trend, price has failed to break this what? Support by forming what? Support on the same as what? Previous level. If price has failed to break this support, that means that the chance of price to pull back to where it started is what? Is 99.99%. So therefore, price is likely to go back to where it started before we see what? Either a continuation or a reversal. So now this is a downtrend that I'm saying what? Price is in as far as what? The monthly time frame is concerned. On GBP card, we have this resistance which has formed this support. Price has pulled back. Price on its way to continue. Price has failed. By seeing buy pressure here, price is going back. So the current situation of price right now is what? It's in a pullback phase. Question is simple. How is price behaving within this pullback? It's a higher time frame pullback. So therefore, when we scale it to the lower time frame, we will see opportunities and we either buy or sell. Now, after knowing the current behavior of price, let's now then zoom out to see the pullback. If we can understand the pullback, and then we scale it to what? To the lower time frame. So in monthly time frame, we have here as what? As the monthly resistance. Someone can also sit somewhere and say that this is the monthly range. The person is not wrong. So now we have this resistance, we have this support. This resistance has failed to break this support. Price is pulling back. How? Now this is the pullback. That price has what? Has started. How did this pullback what? Started? It was initiated using this what? Strong bullish pin bar. Strong bullish pin bar in the monthly time frame. This is that pin bar. Someone can also say that is what? It's a strong what? indecision what? Candlestick. Why? Because the sellers were what? Was able to push the market back to this level. And then the buyers came in strongly to push the market against what? The sellers. And then the buyers was able to close the market above the open of that candlestick. That should tell us that there will be automatically what? Change to your color that you are using to what? To represent buy. So now after this what? Bullish indecision candlestick or bullish strong rejection candlestick, price has moved strongly in the monthly time frame. We have a strong move here, there is a pullback here, and then price has continued. So monthly time frame, price is what? Is in a continuation. So this movement, that price is using to pull back to this resistance as a pullback, price is also behaving in a trend. And that trend is what? Is down uptrend. So within this uptrend, we have here as the last monthly resistance. Sorry, monthly support. So we have here as the last monthly support, which has been able to do what? To break this what? Monthly resistance. So price moved significantly here. There was a minor pullback. Price has continued. So in monthly time frame, price has used this support to break this resistance. Minor inner what? Resistance. The question is simple. Are we going to see a minor pullback here for price to continue with this uptrend back to this resistance, or we are going to see price moving in that manner before we can anticipate whether price will see sell pressure as a minor pullback to this one uptrend that monthly has initiated for the buyers to come in? We need to find out how this support here in monthly was able to break this inner resistance. That is when we can predict or we can anticipate whether price will see what? Sell pressure as a minor pullback for price to continue. So let's find out in the other time frame to see how the other time frame is what? Explaining this monthly behavior. Before we move on to the other time frame, let's find out from the monthly time frame as far as what? Candlestick is concerned. So we have here as bullish candlestick, bullish indecision, bullish and then bullish. We have bearish, bearish and bullish. What is the meaning of this bearish, bearish and bullish in weekly? Let's find out from the weekly time frame. This is weekly time frame. Now, how is weekly explaining what we saw in the monthly time frame? Weekly is telling us that this bullish candlestick that initiated this move is what? Is triple bottom. So this triple bottom here, now then move what? Impulsively to do what? To break this weekly what? Resistance. After that, what are we seeing? We are seeing price moving in a channel. Let me switch a little bit. Now we are in an uptrend, for example. Weekly has moved impulsively. We have a correction. This support has also break this resistance impulsively, and price has started to correct like this. If price has started to correct like this, that should tell us that there can be what? Sellers at any point in time to do what? To drop price as a pullback before price will continue. The question is simple. As to when and where the sellers will come in to drop price, we don't know. So now this is an impulse move here. So in weekly time frame, we have an impulse move with a strong move, and price has started to correct like this. So if you are someone who trade using trend line, now it's easy. Why? Because we have a trend telling us that this is how price has started to move right now after what? Impulse move. So the question is simple. Are we going to break below or we are going to move back? So someone sitting somewhere can also say that now price has formed what? Bullish flag. What do you know about bullish flag? How is that bullish flag? We have an impulse move here. Price started to correct. So this is what? Example of what? Bullish flag. The question is simple. Are we going to see price continue what? Buying, or we are going to see what? A minor what? Pullback. Now within this what? Bullish flag, where is the last support? The last support is this support here. Why am I saying that is the last support? Let's find out. After impulse move here, this resistance formed this support. This support formed this resistance. This resistance has formed this support. This support on its way to continue the trend, it has failed to break this resistance, respecting a trend here. Now price has pulled back to it. The question is simple. Are we going to see price dropping more, or we are going to see price also respecting this trend line to move? So now if price will continue this channel, we are not expecting price to do what? To break this last support. Why? If price does break this last support, that means that we'll see what? We'll see price behaving break and retest. We'll be looking for what? Sell pressure for week, for monthly to pull back. The question is simple. Will price what? Break that last support, or price will reject? There are two things that can happen. It's either price break or price reject. let's find out from the other time frame how price is respecting what? This weekly last support and then weekly last resistance. So that last support here, it has been able to form its resistance. That resistance is what? Is this resistance. So now, in a lower time frame like daily and 4 hour, we are going to understand how this what? Current movement of price explain itself. Why? If we do understand this movement, that is when we can do our anticipation whether there will be more sell pressure even to push back to this support. Then after that, we will think about it whether the market will break or it will reject. Now let me repeat myself. So to go to daily time frame, we are now then going to understand how this what? Resistance is now in a process to push price back to this support. Then if we do understand, that is when we ourselves can anticipate whether there will be even what? More sellers to break this what? Trend line to push back to this support. If that's so, that is when we will think about it, whether there will be what? A rejection or a break. So let's find out this what? Current movement of price in the daily time frame. Now here we are in the daily time frame. How is daily explaining that? Now before we understand this current movement of price, the previous trend, so this whole strong trend, it has reversed the previous trend. And how was the previous trend? The previous trend was in a down uptrend. This was the previous trend. So this is the trend that price was in. And then price to pull back. So you can see this trend right now. It's also the same as what? The weekly presenting itself. So this whole trend line or this whole channel is the same as daily presenting itself. So this was the previous trend. For price to pull back to continue the trend, we have seen that the sellers has overcome the buyers. And now we have seen price moving impulsively. That means that this whole trend, price has corrected that trend. Now there is a question. If price has corrected that previous trend, what is the next movement of price? As technical analyst, you need to ask questions. We don't say high, low, and that's it. Ask yourself question. Along the line, you answer the question. Now, this strong sell pressure has corrected this whole previous trend. There is a question that we need to ask ourselves. As technical analysts, after price correcting this whole trend, what is the next movement of price? Are we going to see more sell pressure or we are going to see what? A reversal to go to what? A new trend to also correct this what? Strong bearish trend. Now, if we see any what? Buyers coming in, they are correcting this what? Strong what? Bearish trend. Now, how is price going to move? Let's find out. So now, after price moving significantly, price form what? The first resistance after what? Impulse move. So this resistance, we were expecting price to continue what? Seeing sell pressure. Price after pulling back to this what? Trend line, I've also seen price rejecting. Let's use logic here. Now, for price to move strongly back to this trend line, what happens? We saw first what? Bullish candlestick as an engulfing candlestick. The sellers came in, failed to break this trend line. The buyers also came in. There was not enough buyers. So they pushed price a little bit. Price pulled back here again. And then the last time that price pulled back here, we have seen what? Bullish engulfing. What is the meaning of bullish engulfing? Bullish engulfing added to a previous turning point is what? It's a double top. What do we know about double top? Double top is what? It's a reversal pattern. There is a question here. Reversal pattern as double top can fail to serve as reversal what? Pattern. So now we need to ask ourselves, will this reversal pattern reverse price back to where it started, or is just what? A failed what? Reversal pattern for price to drop back here? Before we can answer this question, we need to find out from 4 hours, how did price move with this strong what? Impulse move before the double top form. Before we move on to 4 hours, we have here as the last support that price has formed within this what? Trend. So now, if price will continue seeing sell pressure, I'm expecting price to break. But how price is behaving right now, I'm looking for what? Buy opportunity. But the question is simple. How am I going to look for buy opportunity? Let's find out in the 4 hours. Before we move on to 4 hours, if I will buy if price in 4 hours respect this support here as support. Why? Because This pullback was supposed to respect this support as support to continue. What is happening? Enough sell pressure has break below, price has break above, price has break below again, forming what? Double top to forming what? Double bottom, respect trend line, and then we have seen bullish engulfing. I'm expecting this bullish engulfing to see more buy pressure, pull back to it in the lower time frame. I will be looking for what? Buy opportunity back to this what? Resistance. Let's consult 4 hour to also clarify what? Our prediction, whether we will look for what? Buy pressure or sell pressure. Let's move on to 4 hour. Now, this is how 4 hour explaining what is happening in the daily time frame. How is 4 hour explaining that? 4 hour is telling us that the double what? Bottom that we saw in daily. Is it the same as 4 hour? No. It is what? It is triple bottom. What do we know about triple bottom? We know that triple bottom is what? It's a reversal. Question: can this triple bottom serve as reversal? Let's find out how price moved before that triple bottom was formed. So in daily, we saw significant drop. In 4 hour, are we seeing significant drop? No. What are we seeing? We are seeing price forming this double top here in 4 hour. After that, price move impulsively. So now, after price moving impulsively, we have 1, we have 2, we have 3. Price drop. So if Chris is here, Chris, you have seen another example in GBP card. So now, GBP card forming double top. So double top, significant move, 1, 2, 3 pattern. Price drop significantly. Now, in 4 hour, we have here as the last resistance. That price form in 4 hour. After that, price has formed this one, double what? Bottom against this resistance. Question is simple. Are we going to see sell buy pressure push back to this resistance? If yes, this is how I'm going to what? Trade price. So price, after using this resistance, drop back here, rejection. Drop back here. This support has broke this resistance back. For price to pull back, this resistance has now then pulled back completely to this support, using this support as strong. After that, we have seen price in 1 hour forming double bottom here. Price has moved. Price has corrected. So if I'm going to buy GBP card, I want this support here to break again, come back. I'll be looking for what? Buy opportunity. And that is when I'll be looking for what? My buy opportunity around this support. I said that I'll be looking for what? Buy opportunity there. So I want price to also continue by using this support here to break this resistance. So now we have double bottom here in 1 hour. We have a push here. We have a pull back here. If price continue, or price can also be something like this. Price can also see sell pressure back here. When price fail to break, I'll be looking for buy. So this is also another what? Possibility that price can present itself. Price can behave something like this. I'll be looking for what? Buy opportunity when price behaves something like this. The last confirmation will be what? Candle closure. So now when the candle closure confirm itself, my stop loss will be here, and then my final take profit will be this 4 hour resistance as what? 1:4. This is first possibility that price can present itself. The next possibility that price can present itself is that price will not see sell pressure to drop back here. There will be more buyers coming in, break below, come back for pullback. I will be looking for buy opportunity. After candlestick closure, I'll be looking for buy opportunity back to this one, resistance. So now the next possibility that price can present itself, then at that point I'll be risking below this one, support. Then my final take profit will be this, which will give me what? 1:3. Now the last possibility that price will give us what? Buy opportunity is that there will be more sell pressure around this level, break below this support again, break above again, pull back. I will be looking for buy opportunity around this what? Level. Now, if all these possibilities fail to present itself, that means that price will see more sell pressure to break below. At that time, I will stay away. Then I will understand if price pull back to this support. Then I ask myself, what is the next movement of price? Are we going to reverse here, or we are going to continue? We have asked this question, and then we have been able to answer it as we move on to every time frame. So we started from the weekly, and we said that will price see more sell pressure back to this support? If yes, then if price sees sell pressure back to this support, then we ask ourselves, will price reverse or price break? But how price, as we move on to other time frame, present itself, I'll be looking for what? buy opportunity, but this is how I want price to behave for me to come in and select my low. If price fail to behave at that manner, I have to stay away for price to move to where I want to move by seeing sell pressure back to this support. Then I ask myself, are we going to break or we are going to reverse? So my 100 watt bias on GBP card is what? It's on buy bias. So with this, I'm done with what? GBP card. So the guy who requested GBP card, my 100% buy bias is my 100% what? Bias on GBP card is buy. And I've showed you the possibility. Price can see sell pressure back to this support. When you see price seeing sell pressure back to this support, don't buy straight away because you are trading below this support. Wait patiently for price to break above, come back. We'll be looking for buy opportunity here with candle closure as the last confirmation back to this resistance. The next possibility is that there will be what? Sell pressure back to this support, but they will fail to break this support, forming double bottom again. I'll be looking for buy opportunity when the candle closure confirm itself back to this level. The last possibility for price to give us buy opportunity is that this buy pressure here will continue to see buy pressure, break above, come back for pullback. I'll be looking for the last opportunity here with the candle closure back to this resistance. Now, if price failed to present this possibilities, I have to stay away and then keep my money safe. Then price will see sell pressure back to this support. Now, when I see price pulling back to this support, I will not buy or sell. The next question that I'll ask myself is that two things can happen. Price can break, price can reverse. Which of them is going to happen? If price is going to what? Break, this is what? My game play. If price is going to what? Break for me to look for sell opportunity. This is my game play. Reverse, break, come, I'll be looking for sell here, continue. Now, if price will fail to break, this is how I'm going to look for my opportunity when price pull back here. If price form any pattern here, I will not buy. I'll wait for price to break above this support. Come back here will be where I'll be looking for my buy back. This is my game plan. So your game plan, if you stick to your game plan, you are good to do. You are good to go. But if you stick to the general game plan where they are telling you buy from low, sell from high, you buy from every low, you sell from every high. Not every low is supposed to be sell. Not every low is supposed to be buy. Not every high is supposed to sell. You have to pick and select. Before you can do that, there must be a plan. There must be a rule for you to use to now then play around with what? The general rule. With this, I'm done with GBP card. If you have any question in mind, you can bring it on board for us to talk about it before I move on to the next page. So GBP card, my 100% bias is what? It's on buy or what? Bias on GBP card. Now the first confirmation is that double bottom on daily is what? It's triple bottom. Now the next confirmation is that price is trading above this daily what? Support. The next confirmation is that that will be the what? The next confirmation is that I want price to form either double bottom here, and the last confirmation will be candle closure back to this resistance, or price will see sell pressure back to this support, fail to break this support, break above again, come back. I'll be looking for what? Buy opportunity here, continuation. Now the last confirmation that will come when price will give me buy opportunity is for price to see buy pressure here, break above, come back for pullback. I will be looking for what? Buy opportunity. These are my possibilities that I'm looking for what? Buy opportunity to confirm my what? 100% buy bias on GBP card. If price fail to present itself, that means that price will see more sell pressure to complete this what? Weekly support. When price behave like that, I will stay away for price to complete. Then I ask myself, either price break, price reverse, which of them is going to happen? Now, as technical analyst, there must be what? Rule around the general rule that you have it to enter trade. With this, I'm done with GB card. If you have any question in mind, bring it on board for us to talk about it before I move on to the next pair of your choice. Yeah, so Sabotage, you're welcome. I hope everything is what? Fine. Yeah, that's fine. So if you have any pair in mind also, you can bring it on board before I come out with my own pair. But before also I continue with the next pair, let's take the likes to 10K. I have more participants here, but the likes is still at what? 5.3. Let's take it to 10K. Then after that, any pair that you recommend, I will continue with that pair. Okay, so Innocent is saying GBP USD. Now to continue with GBP USD, let's take the likes to 10K. And then I'll continue with what? GBP USD. Now you have seen my what? Setup on GBP USD. Yeah, I was doing discussion with one of my friends during what? Midnight. So yeah, I think midnight or in the morning. Yeah. So we did this what? Analysis. That is why it is still there. So let's take the likes to 10K. 10K, then I'll continue with GBP USD. Guys, let's take the likes to 10K. 10K likes, then I'll continue with GBP USD. Also, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, the link is on my bio. Go to my profile, subscribe to it so that anytime I post short videos as to how you can analyze the market, you have the opportunity to learn from that for free. And also, every live session will be posted on my YouTube channel. So if you have subscribed to it, you have that opportunity to go back and then watch how I break every pair from the higher time frame to the lowest time frame. Then you can also continue learning from it. Yeah, so if you are here and you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, if I were you, I will grab this opportunity and then subscribe to it so that any post I will watch and then learn for free, because people are paying huge amount of money to learn. You are subscribing to a channel to learn for free. If I were you, I will grab this opportunity, because maybe it is free for now. At a point in time, maybe it will change. So now, the moment of which it is free, I have to take advantage of that and then profit from that by learning. So yeah. So guys, if you are here and if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, the link is on my bio. Go to my profile, subscribe to it, so that when I post this live session, after everything, I'll post it there, and then you can go back to see how I analyze GBP CAD as the first pair and then GBP USD as the second pair. So you can learn again from that, and then you add up to what you have already, and then you do addition and subtraction to remove the ones that you don't like, and then the ones that you like, you add up to the ones that you have already. You have two advantage. So let's take the likes to 10K, 10K, 10K. I know we can do it. 10K, 10K, 10K. So 10K likes, and then I'll continue with GBP USD requested by Innocent. Yeah, Innocent. Yeah, I remember Innocent. So Innocent requested GBP USD. Innocent. Yeah. Innocent Nemo. Yeah. So thank you, and then we will continue with our discussion. Also, if you have any question in mind, you can bring it on board for us to talk about it. Then when we hit 10K likes, I will continue with GBP USD. Okay, so guys, we have hit 10K likes. I thank you all for your support and everything. So I appreciate what you're doing. So now with this, we are going to continue with GBP USD. So Innocent, are you still here? So Innocent, are you still here? If not, I will change GBP USD to USD JPY. So Innocent, are you still here? If not, then that means that I will change GBP USD to USD JPY. Okay, so someone saying Euro USD. I think Innocent is not here. So that means we are going to continue with Euro USD. So Innocent, sorry for that. You are not here. I'm going to continue. So Euro USD requested by 30 of Africa. Okay, so this is Euro USD. So now Euro USD, we are going to start from the weekly time frame. Now to start from the weekly time frame, 30 of Africa, we have to ask ourselves a question, and the question is simple. First, how did we close last week? Now, last week was what? Was a bullish market for Euro USD. Now, why do we need that last week market? We need that last week market. Then when we do understand that, we add up to the previous weeks to see how price is behaving. Then we can come with what? With our bias, whether to look for buy or to look for sell. So last week was what? Was a bullish market. Now, after knowing the last week market, the question that we need to ask ourselves, adding the last week market to the previous week, what is the behavior of the market? Is the market heading towards to the upside, or is the market heading towards to the downside, or the market is stuck at a common place? That is when we call it, or we term it as what? Consolidation or ranging market. Now, you can also ask yourself, who are in control from the weekly time frame? Now, after zooming in, we can confidently describe weekly, focusing around this area that weekly is in an uptrend. Now, why weekly is in an uptrend is that the monthly is also in an uptrend as what? As a pullback, and monthly has managed to break previous monthly resistance. So this is the monthly previous resistance here. Now, after weekly, telling us that monthly has managed to break that monthly previous resistance, weekly has pulled back to it. Let's go to monthly and see if monthly has pulled back to it. Now, this is monthly time frame. We can see that monthly, this is Euro USD. Sorry, let me add the watermarks. Yeah. So this is Euro USD. Now I hope everything is clear. Yeah. So Silver FX, Euro USD. Yeah. So now this is the monthly time frame. So the monthly time frame, we can see that monthly is an uptrend. We have this support, we have this resistance, monthly pullback, monthly continuation. All this movement that you are seeing is just a monthly pullback to either respect this monthly resistance or not. The question is simple. Will monthly pull back to this resistance? If yes, that is when, if monthly behave as such, we'll ask ourselves, are we going to break or we are going to reverse? So at the moment, our duty is to anticipate whether there will be more buy pressure back to this resistance or not. Now, before we can know whether monthly will see buy pressure back to its previous resistance, the question that we need to ask ourselves, how is other time frame explaining monthly movement? We can see here that monthly has managed to break this last monthly resistance here. Question, are we going to see more buy pressure back to this resistance, or we are going to see minor pullback for price to continue? Now, in monthly time frame, when we go to a moment. Okay. Yeah, we are back again. Now, to anticipate whether monthly will see buy pressure from this level back to this resistance, we need to find out how monthly managed to break this monthly resistance. And that movement is what? Is this strong bullish trend. Now, if we do understand this strong bullish trend in another time frame like daily, weekly, and then 4 hour, that is when we can now then confirm our anticipation whether there will be a significant buy pressure to complete, or the buyers are not enough, but rather there will be a minor pullback caused by the sellers before the buyers continue. Let's find out from the weekly time frame. Now, weekly is giving us different price action, telling us that yes, weekly is lower than monthly. So therefore, weekly is breaking how every monthly candlestick form. That is why we are seeing this behavior of price. I always tell people that the more the data, and when I say data is candlestick, the more the candlestick, the behavior of price. That is why lower time frame behave complex compared to the higher time frame. Now, weekly is telling us that for monthly to break this monthly resistance here, weekly use uptrend. Let's find out the uptrend. This support here has managed to break, forming weekly resistance. This resistance is not seen in monthly, so it's a weekly resistance, weekly pullback, weekly support, weekly continuation, forming the next weekly resistance. The next weekly resistance has formed its support above the previous support. This support, the duty of this support is to continue. So as the duty of this support was to continue, and it has able to continue. So we are expecting this support to continue. What happens? This support on its way, it has seen sell pressure. That means that this is a failure support to continue. The sellers has come in and they are moving price. Now, in monthly, we said that we are doing anticipation whether price will see more buy pressure to continue. Now, in weekly, we also have to understand weekly why. If weekly fail to continue, monthly will never be able to continue. Let's use logic here. Now, if Monday or if Sunday decide not to end, there will not be Monday. If Monday decide not to end and Tuesday also decide in that order, that means that we will never have a week. Now, if week decide not to end, we will never have a month. That means that if weekly time frame failed to break this resistance here, the monthly will not be able to continue. The question is simple. Will weekly break this resistance, or will weekly not be able to break that resistance? Now, weekly is now in a downtrend heading towards to this support. So now the first anticipation is that weekly will be be able to see more sell pressure back to this support? If yes, then we ask ourselves question, are we going to see buyers come in to jump price for monthly to move? Or we have to also ask ourselves, weekly will not be able to what? To see sell pressure back to support, but rather the buyers, as we have seen that they have taken control right now, are we going to see more buyers coming in to continue the uptrend for months to continue? This anticipation can further be answered when we move on to the other time frame, which is lower than what? Daily. So which is lower than what? Weekly. We are now then what? Comparing price chart in every time frame to now then get idea as to how price wants to move. Now to move on to what? Daily. Where is our last weekly what? Support. Here is the support that we are expecting price to do what? To pull back to it. Now, if price will be able to do so, then the question that, or the further question that we'll ask ourselves, are we going to break or we are going to reverse? So in weekly time frame, we are in between what? This weekly resistance and weekly support. So now, this is where price is at now. If price fail to see buy pressure, but rather sellers come in and then drop price, that means that we are what? Pushing price back to this support. Then we ask ourselves question, are we going to break or we are reversing? Now, the next question that we are going to ask ourselves is that the buyers has now taken control. Are they going to take more control to overcome the sellers to push price back to this resistance? If yes, then we ask ourselves, are we going to break? Now, the moment now is that price is in a downtrend, so our anticipation is to what? Is to drop price. But the question is, will sellers come in at any point in time, or the buyers will push price to some level before sellers come in? Let's find out. Now, to find out or to move on to any other time frame, how did weekly started moving and until what? Until where weekly is right now. So weekly started moving using this strong but bullish pin bar rejection. After this bullish pin bar rejection, what happens? There was what? There was bearish engulfing in weekly time frame, followed by bullish, followed by bearish, followed by bullish, and then two strong bearish. And we have seen two what? Bullish. Now, what at all is this what? Candlestick perspective from the weekly time frame explaining to us. Now, weekly is telling us that bearish rejection, bearish engulfing, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. Now, which tells me that the lower time frame, there is something that is going on here, because every candlestick has its own explanation in the lower time frame. So let's find out how this bullish bearish explaining itself. That is when we can see that these two what? Bullish candlestick against the last bearish candlestick can see more sell pressure, buy pressure, or there will be sell pressure to drop price. Let's find out in daily. So here we are in daily time frame. How is daily explaining bullish bearish that we saw in weekly? So daily is telling us that every candle close in weekly has its own meaning. That means that if we have multiple candlesticks in weekly, there will be multiple meaning, and that multiple meaning is what? Is downtrend that we are seeing here. How is that downtrend? Let's find out. So the downtrend, let's start from anywhere. We are focusing on the resistance first. If we start from this resistance, this is our first resistance. As we started, do we have another resistance? Yes, we have here. Do we have another resistance? Yes, we have here. Do we have another resistance? Yes, the last resistance, which is this resistance. Now, after knowing the resistance, what is the next? Is to focus on the support that was formed because of the resistance. Okay, if that is so, the first resistance here, where is the support that was formed because of this resistance here? Let me switch a little bit. This resistance formed this support. To initiate the downtrend, price pullback to form the resistance below, the drop. This support was formed because of not this support, but rather because of this resistance. If this resistance was not there, there wouldn't be what? This support. Let's go back to the chart. Now, this support, after forming, there was a pullback, forming the next resistance below. What is the duty of this resistance? Is to confirm. To confirm what? The trend. How? To break this support. To do what? To form its support below this support. It has been able to do so by forming its support below. Now, this brings us to what? The next support, which is also below this support. And it was formed because of this resistance, not because of this support. What is the duty of this support? Is to form its resistance. It has also been able to form its resistance by pulling back to form the next resistance below. What happens? That this resistance, the duty was to continue the trend. On its way, it saw buy pressure here to pull back, forming what? Double top. This double top here, the last resistance was also below. And then after that, we have seen more sell pressure dropping, which brings us to what? The next support, which is also below this support. And that support is this. this support was not formed because of this support, but rather this resistance. Now, do we have the next support again? No. So now, if you don't have any support again, that means that in daily time frame, as far as what Euro USD is concerned, we are where? We are in between this daily resistance and then daily support. Now, the question that we need to ask ourselves as technical analysts is that this downtrend here, which was initiated with this strong bearish engulfing, price has completed reversing it. So if price has completely reversing it, the question that we are going to ask, are we going to break or we are going to continue the downtrend? Daily must confirm. So now, if you will be joining my live this week, we are going to start from the daily. Why? Daily must tell us how price wants to move. Then we can do our anticipation in a long term that at the end of the week, we are going to close in the bearish or in the bullish. Daily must confirm. So now, daily has been able to break or has been able to push back to this daily resistance. Question and two questions that we can ask ourselves is that, can price break or can price what? Will not be able to break? This question, one has to what? To confirm itself. So it's either price reverse or price break. Now, which of them is going to happen? Our duty is to stay patient to see which of them that is going to happen, and then we come with our rule. Now, to move on to any other time frame, we delete all this resistance here, which price used to explain the weekly movement, and we focus on daily. That is why every week I start my analysis from daily to see how daily is what? Explaining. So all the previous explanation is how daily what? Explaining movement of price in weekly, but at daily alone, this is where we are right now. So around this area is daily. Now daily must confirm the trend for weekly to move. If daily see more sell pressure, we are going to continue the trend for weekly to move. If daily fail to see sell pressure by breaking, we are not then going to see buyers in weekly to move to the upside. Which of them is going to happen? Now, before we can do the anticipation, whether we are breaking or we are reversing, we need to find out. And what do we need to find out? We need to find out how this strong bullish trend explains itself in other time frame lower than daily. Why? If that trend explains itself that price is likely to drop, daily will what? Will drop. If that other time frame which is lower than daily tell us that the buyers are still what? More than the sellers, we are going to see more buy pressure. As I said earlier on, two questions must be answered. It's either price break, price reverse. Which of them is going to happen? That is our task for this week. We have to decide, or we have to what? Know which of them that will what happen. Then we will come with what? Our ideas. So now, from the daily perspective, we can only see here that more green candlestick bearish, more green bearish. What is its explanation in other time frame lower than daily? That is when we can see that there will be more sell pressure, or there will be more buy pressure. Let's move on to what? 4 hour. This is 4 hour. Are we seeing the same thing that we saw in 4 hour? No. 4 hour is now breaking every what? Daily candlestick. How it formed. In which manner? Uptrend. Let's find out this uptrend. Now within this uptrend, where is our first what? Support. Here. Now price move impulsively. And where is that impulse move? Is that here. When price formed this double bottom here, it moved impulsively. This is the first support. Price move or continue again, forming double bottom here with a bullish and a candle what? Close as what? My last what? Week what? Tuesday trade, of which this pullback what? Took me what? Break even. Now, the next support within this trend is what? Is this strong double what? Bottom here. Do we have another support again? Yes. This is the support. Do we have another support again? No. Why? This is a support, but it's a support within a trend. Why? This support, to break this resistance, the sellers were there at that time. So the sellers came in, but they were not enough to push the market or to reverse it. The buyers came in again and moved price. Now, after knowing all the support and resistance, what is the next? The next is to focus on the resistance. Now, this support here formed this resistance. What happens? After this strong impulse move here, forming this resistance to correct, this first support that we started our analysis, formed this resistance. Price pull back, forming double bottom as the next turning point. Price move to break this resistance, to form the next resistance above, which brings us to what? The next resistance, which is this resistance here. What happens? There was what? A pullback to form the next support, also above this. What happens? This support was able to break this resistance to form the next resistance here. Now, if price has been able to form the next resistance above this resistance, and that resistance is that here, that means that price must pull back. So now 4 hour is in a pullback. So all this movement of price in 4 hour, where we started, is 4 hour explanation as to how daily is moving. We have to focus on 4 hour. To focus on 4 hour alone, we have here as the last 4 hour support. So here is our last 4 hour support. Here is our last 4 hour resistance. Now 4 hour must confirm the trend. So currently, after knowing 4 hour last support and 4 hour last resistance, what is the current behavior of 4 hour? 4 hour is in the pullback. So now, as to when and where 4 hour is going to end its pullback, we don't know. So 4 hour has initiated this pullback with 1 hour what? Double what? Top. So 1 hour double top is telling me that there will be more sell pressure back to this support. That is when we will come with our confirmation. So let's find out how 1 hour is explaining 4 hour. That is when we can now then come in with what? With our buy confirmation. But for me, my 100% bias on Euro USD is to buy. But how I'm going to buy will maybe differ from how you are going to buy. I want price in 4 hour push back to this level, then I'll be looking for what? My buy opportunity. Let's find out from the 1 hour how 4 hour is pulling back. Then we'll decide. So here we are in the 1 hour. How is 1 hour explaining every movement? So 1 hour after forming this double top here, price reverse to form this what? Triple top. So here is 1 hour. So 1 hour movement from 4 hour. We have 1 hour, we have resistance support, 1 hour resistance support, 1 hour resistance and support. Now 1 hour is still in an uptrend. Do we still have to buy right now? We have to wait. Do we still have to sell? No. 1 hour has failed to break this last support in 1 hour. But 1 hour is also trading below the last resistance. That was what? Price broke in 1 hour. That should tell us that we need to wait. If you buy here, the sellers can be more what? Enough to push price back against you. So now 1 hour has failed to break its last support. 1 hour is trading below the last resistance in 1 hour. We can all see here that after price breaking this resistance, price has not been able to break any resistance in 1 hour because the next resistance is this resistance here and price has not been able to break it. That means that if price has managed to break below the previous broken 1 hour resistance, we must stay patient. Because if you buy, price sell. If you sell, price buy. That resistance was what? At a point in time as support, rejected price. Price on its way is for sell pressure, break below that resistance, break above that resistance, break below that resistance. What at all is price trying to tell us? Are we going to see the next pullback to see more sell pressure? If yes, I'm waiting patiently around this area. So Euro USD, now for price to close last week, we have here as the last support that price what gave to us. We have our last resistance, which is on the same level as 4 hour, and then price is trading below 1 hour. Are we selling? No. Are we buying? No. Wait patiently. So now I'm waiting patiently for 1 hour to use this downtrend to complete 4 hour. Then I will come with what? With my confirmation to complete. With this, I'm done with Euro USD. So I have to wait patiently for 1 hour to complete 4 hour pullback. Then I will come in. So in 1 hour, this is my what? My 1 hour support and 1 hour resistance. 1 hour support and 1 hour resistance. I don't draw. I only what? Draw my 4 hour resistance and 4 hour support. And I see the clear price action that 1 hour has what? Explain to me how 4 hour move. Okay, so if we are going to what? Continue the what? The uptrend, I'm expecting price to continuously see sell pressure as pullback, not reversal. Pullback, then we'll wait patiently to see the next movement of price. Then we come with what? Our idea. With this, I'm done with Euro USD. If you have any question in mind, you can bring it on board before I end my live. So I have 5 minutes to stay here. Today is Sunday. I can't stay here long because I have a lot to do and I have also something to prepare before I start tomorrow. So tomorrow 7 p.m. Germany time, I'll be back here again and then we see how far the market has moved. For me, I start my trading day on Tuesday. So tomorrow, I will not be active on the chart, but I'll be watching the chart, but not active as Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, where I'll be looking for what? Opportunity. So with this, I'm done with Euro USD, and also I'm done with my analysis. If you have any question in mind, you can bring it on board for us to talk about it before I end my live for the